contacted me, told me that they can't make it today, okay? So if you have any questions, please use the chat feature and put your questions into the chat and we'll answer them at the end, all right? So I'm going to share my screen with you now so you can gain access to the slides. There's also a poll that's going to happen roughly a little bit through the presentation, and it asks you a couple of questions. Okay, and everybody's going to contribute. So we've a number of people in the call today. We have all of the fifth years and the TYs. We have the year head, which is Mr. Sullivan. We have the deputy principals, and we also have Miss Urell. We have Miss O'Keefe from the MEHL program, and we also have Miss Murphy from TY. Okay, so without any further ado, I'm going to quickly get started because there's a number of stuff we need to get through. Okay, the first thing anyhow is that, listen, you're obviously in fifth year, and just to let you know that on the 17th of February, a decision was made by the Minister of Education that the Leaving Cert for this academic year was going to proceed and go ahead. So the Leaving Cert for this academic year will proceed and go ahead. However, the students in sixth year will also have an alternative option of applying for a graded accredited grade by the State Exams Commissioner, known as the SEC accredited grades. So the current Leaving Certs have two options. So they have an option to do the exams, and they have the option to do an accredited grade or an estimated grade, you might refer to it. Now, they have two options, but the school will be advising all sixth-year students to make sure that they go for two options. They have two opportunities, so they'll take two opportunities, and based on the two opportunities, whichever their best results are in their individual subjects, that's the result they'll get. So if you're doing history, for example, you might do the history exam, you might get a H2, and then if you did a calculated grade or the accredited grade for sixth year, and you might get maybe a H3, you would get the better of the grade. So we're advising all sixth years to do both, okay? Now their exams are actually starting on the 9th of June, okay? And then, like I said earlier, they have two pathways, but it's one destination, okay? So they're going to do the exams in 2021, and then there's the State Examination Commission's accredited grade. So they've two opportunities at this, okay? Now, the reason why I'm telling you all about this is, if you look here, and I put this copy of this document, which is the assessment arrangements for the Junior Cert and Leaving Cert for 2021. You can see here, this is their timetable for the exams, for the Leaving Cert exams this year. But this is the important thing that I wanted to highlight to fifth years. Now, for some of you that might be at home and might be doing past papers and stuff like that, in this document, okay, the structure of the document from, not last year, because last year there was no Leaving Cert, but the year prior to that, the structure of, me say, the biology paper, maybe the economics paper, the accounting paper, okay, was different 2 years ago than what the structure of the paper is going to look like this year. Now, there's lots of discussions going on around this assessment arrangements. So if you're worried about a subject area, I would strongly advise you to find this document, and I'll put it up on the Twitter page, and I'll make it accessible on the website, just to look at what the difference is from the assessment arrangements and the structure of the exam paper 2 years ago compared to what it's going to look like this year. Really, really important for you, because these assessment arrangements, although it hasn't been finalized yet, may stay the same for you in 12 months' time. So it's really important that you're able to see the structure of what an exam paper looked like 2 years ago and what the structure of the exam paper looks like this academic year. Okay, so that assessment arrangement and that document for the subjects that you take at Leaving Cert fifth year would be really, really important to look at it. Some of you would be quite diligent and maybe looking at past papers and stuff like that, but there would be sample papers for some of this information. So do look at the assessment arrangements for the current Leaving Cert this year and what the exam paper is going to look like. It will be really, really important for you. Okay. Now, in relation to the phased and the cautious return to school, and the reason why the Department of Education and the Minister used the word cautious is because it's going to be all based, not on dates, it's going to be based on data and information, okay, and numbers. Now, the numbers are going in the right direction, so there's a strong possibility and a strong likelihood that you guys will be returning to school. And I just let that young fellow in. Oh, thank you, Ms. Halloran. So you guys will be returning as fifth years in a week's time, essentially, in a week's time. So it's really, really important that the return and the phase return is cautious, and it's based on, not on dates, it's based on the numbers, but the numbers are looking good at the moment. So there's a strong possibility you'll be coming back not after next week. Okay, so the date for that, for the fifth years to return, is Monday the 15th of March. So you will be returning on Monday, the 15th of March, based on the phased and the cautious return to school. Okay. Now, with that comes a number of things, and the first thing is, which is the declaration, which is the education declaration. Now, copies of this will be emailed next week. Monday, Tuesday morning will be emailed and out. Through the text messaging system that we have in school for you to download it and to print it off. And if you can't download it and print it off, you can come to the office, and just inside the hatch or the window in the main reception area, there's multiple copies of this document, and you can come in and you can get a copy if you don't have access to printing at home. But on your return on Monday the 15th, you will need that form, and it needs to be signed, okay, signed by your parent. There's a second aspect to it as well. There's also the return to school questionnaire, and that is a link to an online document. And that online document, there's something about 12, I think there's 12 questions on it that need to be answered. And you won't get access to the building unless both documents are returned. Okay, so we need that returned document there, which is the declaration when you come into school. And then also we will have the list of who has completed the questionnaire online. And if you haven't completed the questionnaire online, you won't be allowed in until it is completed. So there's two really key parts of the return to work or return to school that you need to include. Okay. Now, a lot of questions about masks and PPE. Now, it is recommended that medical grade masks of a certain standard are required for SNAs and for special education needs teachers. Okay. So it's advisable. There's lots of research in the US at the moment in relation to cloth masks and medical grade masks. Masks won't be provided. You will have to have your own supply of masks, and you can use a medical grade mask or you can use a cloth mask. The decision is up to you. However, if you are a student that is working in close proximity with an SNA or with a special needs teacher, you will be supplied with a medical grade mask, as would the teacher that is working with that student. Okay. So in order to, in our COVID response plan, there's a number of things that mitigate us against the spread of the virus in a school setting. And it's really, really important that these things that maybe you think that, oh, we've been told this multiple times before, these are the basic things that really mitigate the risk of the spread of the virus. Okay, windows left open, doors left open, masks are on at all times, washing of hands, hand sanitizing, 2 meter distance, disinfecting your desks before and after you enter and leave a classroom, and that we maintain and keep our social distance at all time. And in a second, I'll go through some of the vital things that we need to do on your return to school, which you will be given in hard copy once you return. And then just let's do the right thing. Stay at home, wear your face covering, wash and sanitize your hands regularly, and maintain your 2 meter social distance. This only works if there's a triangulation in this. There's the school, there's the home, and there's you, the student. Okay, so that triangulation of all of us working together is how this works. So we're all working in partnership together to maintain the schools, keep the schools open, and also to keep the virus out of the school. So our three key priorities are: one is the need to protect students' tuition time for the remainder of the school year. And I know for the majority of the fifth years that are in this call, there's 50 of you that went into TUI and you would have done a state exam and you would have done your junior cert. But the remainder of you who came directly from third year last year into fifth year would never have done a state exam. Okay, so it's really, really important that the foundations for your senior cycle and the foundations for your leaving cert, which will be next year, that we protect the student tuition time for the remainder of the year. And that's really, really important. And that's what we're committed to do. We also need to ensure that the school community adheres to the public health requirements. Now, one thing in relation to those requirements, under level 5 restrictions, for example, PE goes ahead, but it goes ahead under a controlled environment, and the PE teachers know what they need to do in order to mitigate the risk of the spread of the virus. However, the current guidelines under level 5 restrictions is that all kind of GA pitches, soccer pitches, all of those kind of sports are closed under level 5 restrictions. So one of the questions that I've been asked since the 6 years returned is, sir, can we kick a ball around at lunchtime? I would love the opportunity for you to be able to kick around a ball at lunchtime and get involved in that. But unfortunately, as it currently stands under level 5 restrictions, we cannot open the football pitch for you to have a kick around. So the pitch is actually closed. Okay, so we must maintain and ensure that the school adheres to the public health guidelines and requirements at all times. All right, so it's the need for tuition time, maintaining public health requirements, and put supports in place for the schools and the teachers to be able to conduct all aspects of examinations. All right. So all aspects of examinations. We are very, very mindful of the fact that there's a high percentage of you in fifth year that never did a junior cert or never sit down in a controlled environment doing an exam. And I'll discuss that later on in relation to assessments and what that means for a summative assessments at the end of the academic year. Okay. Now, on your return, you will be given the kind of the phased return to school for senior cycle students and what that means. So masks must be worn correctly over the nose at all times. A visor cannot be worn instead of a mask. Okay, so it must be worn at all times and over the nose. Masks must be worn both inside and outside of the school, when on corridors and in bathrooms. Also, masks must be worn outside where social distancing cannot be maintained. And in relation to fifth years, when you know the door that you come in and out, so you come in and out the door, that's the fire exit door, I suppose, that is closest to the main road. When you traditionally, if in September, when you were coming out there for your break time, a lot of you were kind of congregating there in groups. If you're congregating there in a group, you must have a mask on and you must maintain social distancing at all times. It is really, really important because that will have impact on whether the schools may remain open or not. So we all have a part to play, as do you. You put your mask on if you're going outside and you maintain your social distancing. Number 3 then is students must remain in the area in the school for which they are located at given times. So for example, as in September, you were in your satellite school, you were upstairs around a maths corridor and around a music room. That is your area. If you were in LCA, you came around by Miss O'Halloran's office by room 11, 12, around that area as well. Okay, so that's your area of the school for your tuition time and for your classes. You did have a split break, so your break was at 10:35. We're hoping to try and maintain that, although we final arrangements put in place in relation to that. We do hope to trial when you do return to have the hatch open in the morning time so you can order some lunch and have the hatch open at break time. If you do follow the rules, if you do maintain your socially distanced, we will have that open at break time so you can get whatever Philippa or has on the or Pippa has on offer, but it'll only work if you maintain your social distance and follow the rules. If it doesn't, it'll be closed quite swiftly. Now it is open at the moment and it's working quite well with the 6th years. Okay, so it is open at the moment. The pitch is out of bounds, like I said earlier. Students must maintain their social distance at all time, inside and outside of the school building. This is essentially important at lunchtime, and 2 meters must be maintained, and masks are completely put back on once the food is consumed. Now, when we're talking about food being consumed or drinks being consumed, you would be in your base classes to have your lunch. You'd be in those rooms. You cannot eat on the corridors or drink on the corridors and not have your mask on. If you're eating in the room, you're maintaining your social distance and you're having your lunch or your break, you're maintaining social distance. You can take off your mask while you're eating or having a drink, but you cannot eat or drink on the corridor. Okay, that is an absolute no-no. Food can only be consumed in the classroom, not eaten on the corridors, as masks must be worn indoor at all times. Okay, all students will have to vacate their base class after around 15-20 minutes during lunchtime in order to get fresh air and get the circulating of the air in the room. Hand sanitizing must be used on entry to the school, on exit of the school, and regularly throughout the day. And you all were given your disposable little bottles to top up your hand sanitizer throughout the day. In September, you should still all have those. Hand sanitizer, yeah, okay. Masks our desks must be sanitized carefully before and after each class. Ventilation in the classroom needs to be left open to ensure the movement of air, and only the bathrooms upstairs are available for use. So traditionally, your bathroom is the only bathroom that's allowed to be used. Okay, so the bathroom that you would normally use in the 5th year area when you return on the 15th is the one you would use. Okay, and only the entry and exit points for the 5th year and LCA ones since returning in September, where the temperature will be taken, is the exit and entry that you use. Okay, so that's the only rooms that you will be entering. All right, or the points you'll be entering the school. Now, again, you will get this information. It's support for post-primary schools returning. So when you return on Monday the 15th, you will get one of these as well. Okay, there's some just positive comments in relation to what we've got back from parents and students since we reopened. Then we also have here what we've done since we've been closed. So we've distributed laptops, we've facilitated collecting of books, we've engaged with students in relation to the blended learning approach since Monday the 11th. Students following their timetable as per Department of Education guidance. There's regular year-ahead meetings with myself and the leadership team. There's regular care meetings. And I will go through with you now in a second year groups that don't engage and for how those students are being tracked at the moment. There's regular SEN and SET meetings for those students that might have be on the SEN register or might be struggling. Year-ahead deputy principal and school completion programme. I've taken feedback from teachers from the forums. There's regular assemblies. There's guidance from the chaplain and from Ms. Urell, the guidance counsellor, with live calls of support for students who request it. You've all had your information option evening and your new information, your new senior option booklet. School completion have given out some vouchers, and SEN have done individual work and booklets and delivered and collected those on a weekly basis. There's been surveys and feedback all through the process. And there's IT support committee for staff, one-to-one support training, anyone that needs it. And there's been a number of staff and family quizzes and bingo and fun events that we've participated in just for everybody's well-being. And in relation to before we broke up for February half term, there was a well-being day, which was the Friday where we reduced the timetable and we did a number of well-being events, and it was very, very well received. And Mr. Hedrington's video surpassed everybody's with his Heritage Walk of Kildare, which was absolutely fantastic. He had over, I think, close to 300 or 400 views. So well done to him. Now, in relation to parent-teacher meetings, in consultation with teachers, there were 3 options that was advised by the Department of Education. Parent-teacher meeting report, telephone calls, or video conferencing. So the teachers voted on what was the most appropriate form of communicating with parents in relation to parent-teacher meetings, because we can't actually come and have a parent-teacher meeting. So that was in the form of option 1, which was additional reports. Now there's 3 year groups that haven't had the reports yet, and would traditionally have their parent-teacher meeting in this term from January onwards. So the reports for first years, the deadline for those was on the 1st or the 22nd of February for first years. The deadline for the 5th year reports was just on Monday, okay? And then the deadline for the second year reports is next Monday. So those 3 year groups, including the 5th year groups, and I know there's reports for TYs because their cycle has changed as well. Those reports will be getting out to you before the Easter break. Okay, so we plan to get those 3 year groups and everybody to get those reports, or those reports to be available on the VSware before the Easter break. Okay, so you'll be getting those in the next 2-3 weeks. Now, just to quickly touch on the online learning and participation. This is a screenshot of every year group in the school. There are forms that teachers have access to internally in the school. So in your case, you'll see there's a 5th year and an LCA 1 here, and the students not engaging with the remote learning, which is really, really important because school continues, teachers are still working. In fact, teachers are working doubly as hard because they're trying to manage their own kids at home, and they're managing to work remotely with blended approach of, connection online, with work being uploaded and submitted and pre-recorded and a lot. So for those people that are not engaging, particularly in 5th year, this is what would happen. So it comes into the teacher, if you're a 5th year student and you're not engaging, it comes in here to this form. And this is a 6th year version or an LCA version, an LCA 2 version. Students not engaging, and the teacher completes this form. And in this form, it asks a number of questions. Who's the teacher? Who's the student? What is the subject that they're not engaging in? Okay, and then after that is has the teacher contacted the parent? Yes or no? And then the further comments. What are the comments, and how has the teacher tried to engage with that student? And whether has the student not engaged, full stop? Okay, then what happens with that information then is populated in here. And then the care team, deputy principals, year heads, the principal, everybody looks at this. Okay, and we put in actions, further comments, support team, additional comments, and all of those comments are tracked. Telephone calls have gone home, information, you know, in relation to the students. I'm just not staying on it because I don't want anybody to be reading what the comments are. So you're tracked that way. But if I'm a 5th year student, I would be making sure that I'm engaging in the 5th year lessons and the remote learning, because it is your foundation for your Leaving Cert. Now is the time, although it isn't the way we want to be delivering the curriculum at the moment, but that isn't an opportunity for you to down tools and not to get involved. It is really, really important that you are engaging with all of your lessons. Okay, so that is an example of those who are not engaging and what has been done as a consequence of it. Some of it would mean a telephone call home and speaking to the parents. It would also mean maybe the guidance counsellor, or it might mean the chaplain contacting you directly via Zoom or via Google Hangouts to have a chat to see what's the problem, how can we fix it, what do you need. And in many cases that we have any problems at the war, whether it was laptop based or couldn't connect, whatever, we've resolved those problems. So it's really, really important that you continue to engage with the remote learning. Okay, I'm going to swiftly move on to, in order to support you, when we know that, you know, we are still here, but we're working remotely, is study skills. And I'm going to quickly show you a video in relation to study skills from a company called Super Generation. And then following this, I'll just have a little survey, and then I will hand over to Miss Urel in relation to Super Generation and what they're going to do. So I'll just see if I can present this and if my video will work so you can see it.
So do you feel that your students would benefit from learning and study skills support for the coming academic year? If so, we would like to partner with you to support your students. When you choose the Super Generation, you are doing so in the confidence that you are partnering with the market leaders in learning and study skills, motivation, and well-being. With the Super Generation, students are given a tried and proven method to help them achieve their academic goals. Our seminars increase student motivation and focus. Each student is also provided with a free study journal, giving them a comprehensive organizational and management tool to record their progress and study. We are delighted to launch for the coming year 2 new delivery methods to complement our in-school seminars, these being live online webinars and e-learning. Our live webinars are structured online presentations delivered by an experienced facilitator. They comprise short, student-focused videos and engaging activities with accompanying resources or a study journal for each student. The webinars will encourage active learner participation and are delivered as 2 one-hour sessions. Our e-learning programs support self-paced, independent student learning. They are delivered via the Super Generation's online classroom. The programs comprise highly engaging animated videos, quizzes, and activities. Students get 12-month access to the programs, which allows them to review their learning at any time throughout the year. For further information, contact a member of our team on 01-808-1494 or by email at info@thesupergeneration.com, or check out our website at www.thesupergeneration.com.
Okay, so that's the Super Generation. And Mr. Urel, if you want to just talk about that before I go into the poll, if you're there.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Hayes. So guys, I've had lots of emails from 5th years, and I'm starting in now to move from 6th years to 5th years to start to help you guys with your learning and help you with your career selection and help you to maximize your chances in the Leaving Cert in the school with us. And I was saying to Mr. Hayes there, and he's very aware that we really have some excellent students in 5th year in the school. We have an excellent LCA class, many students going for distinctions in that programme. We have excellent students that moved from transition year into 5th year presently with us. And we have some excellent students who went straight from 3rd year into 5th year and got a great reports from the school based on their junior cycle. And I know many students are kind of concerned now about the kind of rise in points for a lot of courses based on the accredited grades, and they're kind of wondering what's going to happen when their turn comes to sit the Leaving Cert. And I'm delighted to see students really engaging with their learning and trying to look to see how they can get the best Leaving Cert they can so that they have the most choices open to them. So I'm not saying to anyone out there that's struggling an awful lot with their learning, I'm not saying to you that there aren't options open to you if you don't get a wonderful Leaving Cert. Of course there are. You know, there's many people who've gone apprenticeship routes and they have fantastic and hugely successful careers, as well as lots of other options. But we have a really diverse student group, and what we're trying to do is to give everyone the chance to reach their own personal best. And if you do that, you can have absolutely no regrets. So I have a lot of emails from students considering changing levels now, a lot more emails in this morning. I appreciate some students are finding the online work kind of tiresome and difficult and boring. Some of the tests are Google Forms and they aren't getting a chance maybe to show how good they are, or you know, the tests aren't as frequent online, and of course it's difficult to monitor whether students have the book open or not. I appreciate all these difficulties that students are having online, and when we get back to school, hopefully a lot of that will be addressed. I would say not to rush to changing subject levels now. As you know, if you're taking higher level, you almost get twice the points for the grades at higher level than ordinary levels. So I don't want students to rush into that quickly. Keep the higher level for the moment to maximize your chance, unless of course you're completely lost, and send me an email. So what Mr. Hayes and myself are looking at with this seminar is trying to look at ways we can help you with your learning, because learning is lifelong for you guys. It's lifelong for us. We're always doing ways and professional development to improve ourselves. And what I know, having students myself in university, that by learning how to study and by learning the science behind learning, it sticks with you for your whole life. So that's why we have contacted Supergeneration to deliver this 2-hour workshop, which is really, it's not sitting online in a boring way. It is really interactive and really interesting. And these Supergeneration have been in schools all around the country. And we have also arranged that we can get this 2-hour interactive course that students can take in their own time. I've done the course and it was absolutely brilliant. And of the students who participated in the seminars, the results were amazing. 97% of students said they know how to study more effectively. And I've had so many emails from you guys and from third years with people struggling at home. And 95% of students said they feel less stressed and more confident about their learning. So this is a great opportunity, and normally much more expensive. I've arranged study skills seminars in the past, which cost €10 for 2.5 hours. This is interactive, it's really targeted, it explains the science behind learning. And I want students here for the rest of their lives to engage in this opportunity.
Okay. Miss Urel, can we just say that, like, even in the little video that we showed, that the actual journal that you get, the study skills journal, you actually get a copy of that. You get an electronic copy of it, and you actually get a hard copy that will come to the school, and we'll actually send it out to you. Now, the only thing is, and I'm going to do the poll now, if that's okay, we are suggesting that we would run with the Supergeneration study skills next week, and you do 1-hour sessions sometime next week before you actually come back. I don't want to do the study skills that's going to impact on more tuition time. So we'd like to be able to do it next week before you return. Now, the school is willing to kind of meet students halfway and contribute towards it. But is what the school doesn't want to do is to contribute for the whole thing, and then not everyone want to avail of it. So it really wouldn't, the law of economics wouldn't be a sensible thing to do. So is what we're asking for too. I'm going to launch a poll in a second. Is one, are you interested? And you say yes or no. And then if it's between €8 and €10, and if the student is interested, say yes. If they're willing to pay the €5 onto the easy payment, which will be sent, which you'll be able to get access to after this assembly, and the student was to pay €5, the school would supplement that with the remainder amount that's due. And but not only that, we would also post out the actual the booklet to you. So essentially, look, we're meeting students halfway. We just don't want to pay, which is well over €1,000 for a cohort of 150 people to do it. and then only 50 of the students to turn up. It has to be viable. So if you're interested in it, I'm going to launch a poll. You just need to reply. It'll pop up on your screen, and you can say to me, it'll ask you, are you interested in the Supergeneration Study Skills that's going to happen next week? And then you say yes or no, and can you commit to €5 on easy payment by Friday, the 5th of this, by Friday this week. So I'm going to launch the poll there now, and the poll should pop up on your screens, and you should see it there now. And if all of the students that are on, if you could answer 2 of those questions for me, please, and it'd be much appreciated.
And just to say, I get emails from 6th years coming in now saying that they find study difficult. They used to be okay, and now they've lost the knack of it. You'll have access to the online workshop for 1 full year from the time we book it. So the seminar will give you the study journal, and it's really easy to use, and loads of tips of how to study, more than I could ever cover. And then you'll have the access to the online course for 1 year after we sign up for it, to reinforce what you've done, so it doesn't go in 1 ear and out the other. And it is guaranteed to help you to study. So guys, if you haven't been out for lunches recently, you should pay for this yourselves. It's an investment in your own future, and I'd be recommending everyone does it. I learned from it, and I've done an awful lot of work on study skills. It is an absolutely fantastic course. It's a fantastic opportunity, and 5th year is very important. 5th year results. I find when students are applying to the UK, we're often asked to attach a copy of a 5th year report in with the reference. For applying for apprenticeships, they want a copy of the latest student report. So it's important to keep up to date with your study and to do the best that you can, your own personal best, and this will help you to do it.
Yeah, and like Miss said there, we've kind of got a deal with the conversations that we've had with Supergeneration yesterday, that anyone that does the 2-hour seminars, usually you have to pay a subscription on top of that for access to their classroom, essentially for the 12 months, but they're going to give us that for free. So that's included in the price. So it's really, really important that, like, when you do these 2 seminars, you can go back to it at any stage over the next 12 months. And it's never as important this year for this cohort, because there's a high percentage of you, over 100 of you, that haven't done a state exam. And between now and the next 12 months for you is really a crucial part and a crucial time for your academic progress. So I'm just going to give it 10 more seconds, because of 138 people that's in the call, only 106 have filled it in. So there's 32 people that haven't now, and taking 10 out of that. So there's about 20 people that haven't filled it in. And the other 10 are probably staff. So there's about 10 out there that haven't voted yet. So I'm just going to give you another 10 seconds if you can get your vote in, please, and at least we will have some indication then of numbers. Okay. Right, it's coming up now. I'm going to stop the poll now in 5 seconds. So I still see some numbers coming in. So if you could get it in there as quickly as possible, that'd be great.
Would you like me to continue on here, Mr. Hayes?
It's probably the kids could see the poll. I'm going to stop it now. It's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm going to stop the poll at that. And Ms. Urell, for your information, and so you can see it, is of the students that are online, 74 of them have opted to, which is 62% of the students have opted to do the study workshop with Supergeneration next week. So 74, and 74 are willing to do the easy payment before Friday of this week. Okay.
So I'll put a letter on the website to explain to your parents about it. But those students, you will not regret doing this in 5th year, or indeed this time next year. Or indeed, believe me, it's something that's not taught in universities and ITs or training programs, how to actually study and make the information meaningful so that you connect with it and can easily remember it in an exam. It's not taught. So this is a fantastic opportunity, and you will not regret doing this. You will be one of those 95, 97% who rate it extremely highly. So I'm delighted that you're coming on board. It's well worth it.
Yeah. Okay. And so the only thing with that is everybody will get everyone in the 5th year and the TY cohort will actually get the text. and that'll be sent with a link to the letter and a link to the easy payment. So if you decided that you said no and now you want to actually by Friday do it, please do. You know what I mean? Just by Friday, we will be generating the final numbers on Friday and communicating the dates and the times for the Supergeneration workshops next week. Okay. Okay, Ms. Jarrell, if you want to talk about, then we move on to Tina Tracker, or the journey of a child in KTCS and what that means. And we'll go through a couple of those slides quickly.
Okay, thank you. So look, when I'm meeting with 5th years and I'm meeting with 6th years, a lot of students are very interested to know if they're getting, you know, a H3 or an 04 in an exam, is that kind of a good grade for them, or is it not? And to help students with this, we've signed up all of our school to this Athena Tracker. And what happens is I put in all the results of the aptitude or the abilities tests that we do. So they're the CAT4 tests, and we measure students' ability with words and with numbers and with shapes and patterns and problem solving and with visualization. And an average score would be 100, or between, we'll say, 89 and 111. They're kind of average scores. And then we have loads of students in this school in lots of those different areas that get well above average in them. And many students that get average and work hard on them and do very well. And what the Athena Tracker then, if we move along there, what it shows us then is they're the way the scores go in. So you can see this particular student here has an ability above average in the 3rd year test, in the one we did in 3rd year, which are the bottom 4 scores, in English and verbally, and also spatially. So their 3D reasoning was above average. Okay, and what the Athena Tracker does for us then, we can see on the next slide, is every exam, that end of term exams that a student would do, it color codes those exams. And if, say, a student does an exam in history and they get 60%, that result might be color coded on the Athena Tracker, and I can show students this, and it will tell us whether that exam for that student is above their natural potential. So we can see here a whole class group, and the class results are colored either red, and if they're red, that means that student could do that little bit better. Now, these aren't real students, these are kind of fictitious students, but our school looks exactly like this. If it's color coded yellow or orange, it means that result is in line with what we'd expect that student to get. And if the color code is in green, that means that that student is actually punching above their weight, that result is particularly good. Now, this is very interesting when you're kind of picking levels of subjects, okay? So if you see some of your results are in the red, that means based on your baseline information, based on your abilities, and based on your test results up to then, you could actually improve that result. And that's really valuable information for you to know coming back to school of what results you can actually do that bit better in. Now, teachers can enter in end of chapter results onto this Athena Tracker, but the only results that we really use to affect the color coding are the Christmas and the summer results. And I can show students what subjects they could do that the Athena Tracker would deem they could do that bit better in, and this will help you to maximize your chances to do well in exams. So we've got this for you guys because it allows you to see where you can do that little bit better, where you can push yourself that little bit harder based on your own natural ability. Because as I said, there's many students in the school in 5th year and in LCA that are well above average in lots of those different areas. So it's great to have that information and to realize, and by the way, the Supergeneration program will do this, it'll teach this growth mindset so you can realize that you can actually improve your own natural intelligence by hard work and learning how to study, and you can get your results into the green and everything.
So this is, and for example, this is a system that the teachers use to be able to monitor your progress over time at the school. It's called Athena Tracker. I call it the journey of a child. So essentially, when someone starts with us in 1st year, we were able to show either a parent or a student, or if, for example, in the current climate with 6th years, if they're doing an estimated grade or an accredited grade, the teacher in that subject area will be able to see every assessment that student has done over the 2 year of their senior cycle. And they will be able to give reasons as to why they're given an estimated or an accredited grade based on the information that they have on this system. So this is a very, very powerful tool that we are using to increase the attainment levels for the whole school population. And that, as Miss said at the very, very start, whether you want to be a carpenter, whether you want to be an engineer, a nurse, or a doctor, whatever it may be, you all have a destination. And your destination, whatever that may be, is really, really important. And we want to be able to show that progress. We want to be able to show you that progress as you continue through the school, and be able to see what your aspirational target is, or what your grade may, where you're at, and what you can aspire to. So it's really, really important. But again, for you as a fifth year, we don't know what the Leaving Cert would look like next year. We do know that the assessment arrangements will be probably similar for you as they are for so the exam paper might be different. Now, obviously they need to get through this year first before we have kind of guidelines in relation to that. But who knows in the not too distant future. I know that from the OECD, or we'll say the European countries, that Irish students suffer from the highest levels of anxiety in Europe. In relation to the exams and the impact that's put on them in relation to the exam. So it may change in the not too distant future, where some of this continuous assessment and this progress over time is taken into consideration. So it's really, really important that you're aware of this, that you know how you're being tracked throughout the school, and you can ask that questions when you return to school in school teaching with your teachers, to see how you're doing and what you can do to improve and do better. So really, really important. So a couple of things I'm going to quickly go through is to move on. This, the Department of Education information, okay, in relation to the return and the phased cautious return to schools. There's loads of information for students and parents and families in relation to that cautious return. Things in relation to the continuity of learning and schooling, even from home. And there's a lovely little kind of device here, or a kind of a graphic that talks about the links on how students, children at home, how parents can help them, links to the National Council of Special Educational Needs. It's in multiple different languages. And there's loads of information in there for you support. There's a really good support with, I think it's 21,000 resources on the iSchoolNet website. So look, if you look on this link or on this page, now it can be difficult to find it. And after the assembly today, I will put it. There's the link for it, and it'll be difficult to take it down because it's a funny link. I will put it on the @KTCS Principal Twitter page. For all fifth years. And if you click on that, that will help you with the return to school and what you need to be doing now that you're in remotely. And it gives you all the links and all the videos and all the information that you need from the Department of Education. But I'll put that link for fifth years onto the Twitter page, and the Twitter page is @KTCS Principal to get that. Okay, a couple of things before I hand over to some other members of staff as in relation to year ahead, MEHL leaders and stuff like that. One thing that's come up quite a lot is email etiquette. Okay, and how to email a teacher. All right. Now we've got to remember that the teaching is a profession and it's a professional organization. So what the subject line is. What is the subject line of the email that you are emailing to the teacher? What is it? What is the subject of it? Is it homework? Is it project work? Is it classwork? What is it? Okay. And then to always start with hello, just to kind of to say, hi miss, hi sir, good morning, hope all is well. Okay. Number 3 then is why you are emailing. Okay. For example, I am emailing because, or I can't find, or can you please help me with? And then 3, end your email, close the email by saying goodbye, say thanks for your help, or I hope you have a nice day and I hope to see you back in class next week. And then to sign it off with your name. Okay, really, really important. And another nice, and there's an example of it there as well. And another nice little graphic in relation to it is here. We got using kind of shorthand, using like, for example, using the word you isn't the letter U, it is YOU. And, you know, the type of language that you might use informally or that you might use with your friends or your mates, that's not how you should be communicating with a member of staff. Okay, it should be professional dialogue at all times. So there are 5 key points there now in relation to your email etiquette, and it's come up on a number of occasions. Okay, so please, please, please have a look at that and make sure that any engagement in email format that you're having with teachers is done professionally and appropriately. Okay, I'm not too sure if Miss Behan is there, if she wants to come in relation to SEN.
So everyone, hope hopefully we're looking forward to seeing you back on the 15th, everyone, and the transition years after Easter. And again, all of our supports are still there for anyone with any additional needs. We strongly encourage you to keep in contact with myself or Ms. O'Sullivan or Ms. Russell and all of our SNA team. If it doesn't just about your schoolwork, if there is any problems with your schoolwork or anything you need us to help you, or contact teachers, but there might be a piece about organising yourself after this study skills seminar and what you learn from that too. Or if anything is difficult for you at the moment, please do get in touch with any of us. And then just, this is a great opportunity for you to maybe improve like things like your keyboard skills and your typing progress, because before you get back to school with us as well, use this opportunity well for yourself. Thanks, Mr. Hayes.
Okay, cheers, Miss. And now we're going to move on to MEHL and what the MEHL programme is. And Miss O'Keefe, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, I know that we have a student that is on the MEHL programme, but if you just want to go through what the MEHL programme is first, and then maybe the student, if she's there with Miss O'Halloran, can maybe come on.
Yeah, great. So the first thing that I want to say is that I hope that you are aware of MEHL in the school and that you know what MEHL is about in the school. It's a team of Leaving Cert students. So this is in relation to the fifth year students for today. It's a team of Leaving Cert students who work together to welcome the first years into Kildare Town Community School. So it's really important. It's very daunting if you remember coming in from primary school to post-primary school. You've got all these big students around you, new teachers, a number of different teachers. So the MEHL team is there to help to bring you into from primary to post-primary. And then they also try to organise a few events throughout the year. So I was in part of MEHL in school. I was one of the students picked out of our 10. And it is one of the most special things that I've ever been a part of. And I'm really lucky that I start training. The training is usually in Castletown for a residential week. That won't be the case for yourselves, but I trained leaders there. I trained the school groups, and now I get to be the coordinator in the school. And it's a really special thing to be a part of. And I'm sure Faith will confirm that for me, because any student that does it really loves being a part of it. Okay. So the training this year is going to be, we're going to be picking another team of 12. Because it's non-residential, we get to pick a team of 12. It's something that's great for your CV and really improves your organizational, your planning, your team working skills. So I really would encourage you, if you want to be a part of it, to show your interest. Okay. The training is probably, hopefully, COVID considered, going to be over 4 days in June or July, and we're just not sure exactly how that's going to look. Okay. Before I go through the logistics of how you're going to apply for it, I'm going to get Faith to speak, if she's there, on her experience with MEHL this year. And they've done a really amazing job this year. They didn't get the proper training they normally would, and they still managed with COVID and everything to come up with really wonderful activities for the first years. So Faith's there.
Hi, Miss. Thanks. Yeah, MEHL this year was a lot of fun. It was definitely harder with all the, with the COVID-19 and everything, but MEHL was great because it helped us as a team. It helps mature because we're the first year's role models. They look up to us. So, and we're introducing them into the secondary school life. It gave us a chance to, get to know each other better, because during our, obviously, MEHL isn't chosen by anyone in the school, it's chosen by someone outside of school. So we didn't know each other very well at the start, but after our training day, we all became super close. We're all really close now. So it's, that's one thing it was really great for. It's definitely a break from, the sixth year, the hectic life, because, you're doing other things. It gives you something else to focus on. It also looks, like Miss said, it looks really great on your CV. I joined MEHL because I wanted to help the first year's transition. My MEHL leader in first year was pretty great, and I thought it was like a fun thing to try out. It helped me gain new skills. to become more organized and more experienced in planning events. And it was definitely such a break from the sixth year life. It was really nice to have something separate from just school and study. It helped me to listen to others and then to take on everyone's opinions and learned about consensus and all these kind of things. We did a few events this year. We did like a Halloween quiz. I think we also did just like a get to know each other, but then obviously lockdown happened, so we weren't able to do anything else after that. But even so, getting to know the first years was lots of fun. They're adorable because they're just a little bit clueless and you're helping them get through it, and it's really great to see them adjust into the secondary school life. So yeah, MEHL was definitely a great experience, and it's something that I won't forget when I leave school. So
thanks, Faith.
That's great.
I think Faith's forgetting a lot of stuff that they did this year. They did study skills,
oh
they did
yeah,
a COVID video, they've done a Christmas jumper day. They did an awful lot that she's doesn't remember.
it's a very long day.
Thanks, Faith. Just in relation then to the process of applying for MEHL, it's going to be a very quick turnaround. So if you are interested in applying, could you email me by 4 o'clock today? Okay, and then what's going to happen is I'm going to send you an application form with a letter to you and to your parents, okay, that you need to have filled in and completed. I meant to only give you 24 hours, I think by Friday morning, give you a chance to fill that in. So if you could have that done by Friday morning, and that's all given to Rob then. Rob is the guy that's going to pick the team for us, okay? And he'll then send you a consent form to yourself and your parents for online, because they're going to be via Zoom. And then he'll give you the information for your actual interview, okay? Now, the thing is, Rob picks the team, okay? And this is really important to know. Someone said to me this year, a sixth-year student, that they didn't apply for MEHL because they didn't think that they would get in. And that made me really sad, because everyone has a chance to get in, okay? I don't know how Rob picks the team. I've been really blessed over the last few years. We have really good teams and really good students in Kildare Town, and they really gel together and organise really good activities for the first years. So that's part, I suppose, of the MEHL process, but Rob has a knack for picking people. Please do not think that you can't get in. If you want it, go for it, okay? You can't be in it if you're not actually going to apply for it, okay? So don't think that you're not going to get in. And then just the last thing then is, I unfortunately, well, not unfortunately for me, but I'm not going to be there at the start in September with you, but Mr. Barron, as long as Mr. Hayes is okay with it, has agreed again to take over for me for the coordinator next year, okay? So don't let that put you off applying for it either.
Don't let him put him off because it's Mr. Barron.
Mr. Barron's do it.
Okay, so the deadline then, can we give the students a deadline tomorrow morning to request, or tomorrow sometime to request the application, and then to have it filled in by Friday, is it?
No, 4 o'clock today, just to let me know if they're interested. So if you're interested, you'll just come off the call and give me an email, aokeefe@ktcs.ie, and then I'll send the application form straight back, and if you have that done by Friday morning.
Okay, cheers, thank you very much for that. Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. O'Sullivan.
Thank you, Mr. Hayes. So just a few points for me, guys. You are back March 15th, so Monday week. I know we had our sixtures back this Monday, and we had a great turnout. Pretty much every sixture was back who was fit and healthy. So I'm sure it'll be the same for you guys Monday week, and we are looking forward to seeing you. What I'd say, until then, please maintain the online engagement. Okay, the vast majority have been doing very well. As Ms. Urel said earlier on, we are a good year, and includes the TYs LSA one as well. So please keep up that engagement. Of course, if you don't, you've seen what happens, the procedure that we follow. Of course, we do still encourage you to reach out to teachers if you are struggling, but please do so appropriately, as Mr. Hayes said. Okay, don't be using slang language, and talk to teachers appropriately, show a bit of respect, and they'll be happy to help you. Okay. Now, you might remember the last assembly we spoke about resilience, and it's important that you focus on things you can control. So just a quick reminder on those would be to exercise, okay, because that's good for your health and your sleep. And something I saw yesterday that I found interesting was in Australia, you know, you can't even, once you go to Australia, you have to do a 2-week quarantine. Okay, so 14 days, you can't even go outside. So they've done up this booklet, and I just took out some of the things that they've written in it. So things that might help people's well-being. So you might do stuff like catch up with a family member, whether it's a phone call or a letter. You might read a book. You might join an online book club. I know my own partner, she's in with our friends, and every month they read a book and they meet up in a Zoom call and they just talk about the different things that they do. You might learn a language. There's lots of apps that you can do that'll help you there. Take up a new hobby such as knitting, baking. I know Mr. Hayes and Miss Bean with his scone making and the pizza making, and the Wellbeing Day was a huge success. So you might try and beat them, perhaps play an instrument. You can also do things like take virtual tours of museums and zoos. I know Dublin Zoo does it, and NASA Mars rovers, something that's very much in the media at the moment, that they're trying to discover life in Mars. Another good few ideas that you might do is organize a virtual date where you're meeting with friends, and you know, you kind of keep a consistent time and every week that you might meet up with your friends and just talk about different things that happened that week, or you might watch a movie together. So these are all good ideas that I came across in that booklet that they give to people in Australia once they get there. Of course, it is important then to balance your online time, okay, because it's good to unplug from technology as well. So that's quite important. Finally, what I'll say is, because I know some of you guys might be need to go to class, what I'll say to you is just make sure that you don't stress too much, and that these past few weeks of missed class time will not determine your whole life. Okay, so you know, you will catch up on these things, and when we do get back to the week, you know, you will have much better teacher interaction time, and you will catch up on those missed classes. So don't worry about that. And next slide, Miss Foley couldn't make it to this assembly, but she just said to write, just to have a look at these points, and I can share these points with you later on in the Google Classroom. So if you're thinking of being a prefect next year for 6th year, you'd apply in September. Okay, so prefects are students who strive for high standards in behavior, cooperation, academic performance. You're viewed as senior school leaders who assist in promoting and organizing school-based activities, and you promote better communication between the students and management with the aim of improving school spirit. So if you are interested in doing that, you would email that email address, prefect@ktcs.ie. So positions are filled this year, Miss Foley told me, but this will open again late September, and you'll be interviewed then by Miss Foley and Miss Bean, and then they'll be putting you in designated areas. I know I work with a few prefects in the area of first aid and PE, so you know, you'll be given a specific area, and it's definitely something, as Miss O'Keefe said, for Metal, it's great to have on the CV. And you know, I think being part of the student body, be it with Metal or be it with the prefects, is definitely a worthwhile thing to do, and I did myself, and I loved it. Okay, so that's it. I know before we go, actually, I know LCAs, you're probably wondering what is the situation with the interviews and tasks that you were supposed to do in January. The department have not said yet, but I'm sure when we do return to school that it will be rescheduled for you guys. And I know TYs, you have your online assembly with Miss Murphy every Tuesday morning. I don't know, Miss Murphy, if you want to say anything, but please keep engaging with Miss Murphy. I know she's organised lots of great things for you to do. I don't know if Miss Murphy is still on the call, but
I am here, yeah.
Hi, Miss Murphy.
Hi. I might just say a few things when you're finished.
Yeah, look, that's my bit done. So, Miss Murphy, I'll let you talk then.
Hi guys, just to kind of go back on what a few things were said today. You know, it is important that you keep engaging, and in relation to even the Students' Council and Metal, and I know it's not relevant to you guys at the moment, but I've organised an awful lot of classes, online workshops and different things like that. In the next few weeks with Maynooth University, you have taster courses in arts, engineering, business, science and law. You're doing, as well as the law course you did before, I've signed you up for the Bar of Ireland law course. But there's also extra courses I'm trying to get you to sign up for. And there's one of our students that took part in a nursing course with the Royal College of Surgeons, you know. And then I've sent information about an engineering workshop at the University of Limerick. And the people take on all these extra courses too, and now's the time to do so. When it comes to applying for things like METL or maybe Students' Council, and I know again it's a year away, but these are the things that will make your CV and your application stand out. So definitely consider signing up for the extra ones, as well as engaging in the ones that I have signed you up for.
Okay, that's great. And then also Student Council, don't forget there's a head boy and head girl in relation to the prefects as well. And there will be a competition in relation for anyone that wants to apply for that. Miss Bean, do you want to mention that about head boy and head girl? I know you've done that in the past.
Yeah, absolutely, everyone. We would very much welcome our fifth years to very much consider these leadership positions. We view you as the leaders of future leaders of our school, and that the head boy and head girl is normally when the prefect process is finished. From that list, then the head boy and the head girl is selected then. But whether you're thinking MEHL, whether you're thinking prefect, or you're thinking student council as a sixth-year student, it is a huge contribution to our school and service to our school and leadership within our school. And we very much look up to these leaders in our school, but also for your own personal development. And like Mr. O'Sullivan said, for your own CV and in interviews going forward, it's showing that you can stand on your own and that you have those leadership capacity. And we strongly encourage you to consider it and apply for those positions now and in September as well. Thank you.
And just to say in relation to those positions, our school is a conversational school, okay, and an appropriate conversation. And if something isn't right, we want to hear about it. We want to know when we're doing it right. We want to know when we're not doing it right. But being a conversational school, and you as a student body are equal stakeholders in the school. It's not my school, it's not Miss Hackett's school, Miss Bean's school, it's our school, all of us together. And students as a body, you are equal stakeholders and you have a say. And that say is done through those leadership positions to student council, prefects, head boy, head girl. And it's really, really important that you have strong, good representations in those positions. And if you even see now in relation to the current sixth years and all of the advisory committees that are working on the solutions for this year's Leaving Cert, the ISSU, which is the Irish Student Unions Organisation, they've been absolutely fantastic. They've attended all of the meetings essentially with the managing bodies and with the Minister of Education in putting plans, and they've had their voice heard. So that's the type of voice that I want at KTCS, to make sure that you have a voice and that you come to the table and in an appropriate professional way that we can work together to make our school a better place. And that's what it's about. A couple of questions have come in. One question is the football pitch available to walk around it to get exercise? Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. It's not available for congregation for a ball and to be kicking it around. That's what it's not available for. Do students have access to a Tina Tracker? No. Tina Tracker, or Journey of a Child, is a tool for teachers to monitor the academic progress of the students across time. So it's continuous assessment over time. But to teach the students and the teachers would use it moving forward into next year and the year after. When it comes to a parent-teacher meeting, they would have the opportunity to display that information to the teachers. But also you could ask, Miss, what does the team, where am I going in relation to a Tina Tracker, or what does that look like for me? Is there anything I can do to improve? They're good conversations to be having. And this is a tool that we would use to graphically display that information for you, okay? Can students access it? No, not at the moment. Can we have both prefect and MEHL positions? Yes, that's happened this year, isn't that right, Ms. O'Keefe? Yep. Okay, and you can, of course. A question here, will the students be given time to return all books back into school? Good question, really. Will they be given time to return all books? There wouldn't be an expectation, for you to carry all of your books in at one go. But I would bring in the books that you have for that day. So when you come back on Monday the 15th, whatever books that you have for those subjects on that day, you will have those subjects on that day. Bring the books for those subjects, okay? And then you can bring it in on a kind of a scheduled basis, on a day-to-day basis. Can you ask teachers to take the time to show us the tracker one of the days we return? Good question. I can ask, yeah. Definitely, I can. It's difficult to do that in a class setting, because a teacher would have a class and they would have 25 in the class. It's more of an individual thing. And if you want to see it, yeah. But look, it's a conversation I'll have with teachers, that I know there's appetite for students to see how they're doing. But you would have that information yourself on how you performed on exams. Now, teachers can report which we don't see, only the teachers see. We see the summative exams at Easter, or not, sorry, at Christmas and at summer, and then teachers can actually use it as a mark book. So if I have assessments maybe every 2 weeks at the end of every chapter, teachers can put in those chapter exams as well. So give a good kind of holistic view of how you've performed over the academic year. So yeah, you can, but again, just be mindful that teachers can't display something like that with students' names on it, because it's an individual thing. Okay. And that's all of the questions I've answered. Listen, can I just thank everyone for participating, and all the members of staff that support me in relation to putting this together and giving you this very, very deep, informative information about lots of different aspects of our school before you return a week on Monday. Further information will follow in relation to your return, in relation to the questionnaire that you need to do, and the declaration that'll come out to you next week. But I just want to say a massive thank you to all. There's over 150 people in the call, and you've been absolutely amazing. So well done. If there's anyone that has missed this, I will put the link to the Zoom up on the website. It just takes a little bit to render and stuff like that before I get up. So if anyone has missed this, they can have access to it. So thank you very much, all of you, for participating. Thanks for the staff for joining us this morning and giving so much information to the students. It's much appreciated. And I know there's other staff there that are supporting young people in the year group, and to see you guys is fantastic. So well done to all of you. And to the students, we look forward to welcoming you back a week on Monday. We've had a great return with the 6th years, and we've had nearly every student return. I think on the first day there may have been 1 or 2 that didn't for whatever reasons, but we're expecting a similar type of return for the 5th years. And we're also expecting from our 5th years to be the tuition time, and to be face-to-face tuition time with their teachers is important. So we're coming back in that mindset. We'll come back in that mindset to make sure that we are making up for the tuition time that we may have lost out on. Listen, enjoy. I'm sure you have lessons to go to. We have another assembly in a few minutes. So listen, take care, everybody. And Sloan, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care. And thanks very much.
See you soon. Take care.
Bye.
See you guys. Bye.